Okay, welcome everyone, and thanks for joining me for chair yoga. Let's use this beginning time as we typically do to transition. So I'm going to ask you to make sure you've got your cloth. Today I'd asked you to just bring a cloth and I'll show you how we can use it so just have that handy so you don't have to stand up and go retrieve it. You've got it handy for when we come to that time. And come forward on your chair, use your block between your legs. I'm really going to try to emphasize the focus of our alignment by way of that language I've often used or sometimes used, where we imagine we're leaning up against a wall, that we're sitting up nice and tall, and that you could almost imagine your back of your head is coming into contact with this imaginary wall to keep you upright. The reason I'm focusing on that today, I've been doing some reading that is kind of bringing to mind for us teachers that a common misalignment is getting your head forward of your body. So even that subtle movement forward, that your head comes forward of your spine, forward of your body, creates tremendous pressure in your neck, just tremendous. Just to remind you, the weight of your head, how significant that is. They say 10 to 13, 14 pounds, anywhere in that range is a typical weight of your head. So just that, little movement forward that we come into by habit can put a lot of strain in your neck. And let's try to eliminate that now that we're wiser. So sit up nice and tall. Imagine that you've got a wall behind you, and you're going to pull your head and the back of your head right into that wall. And then that also gives you this wonderful experience of opening up your chest cavity. It sort of lends itself to that. We're going to start with a box breathing. Our box breathing will be our method, our pranayam, to bring us into better focus, and it starts to harness the monkey mind, that quick movement from thought to thought to thought, and bring us into a more centralized awareness. So close your eyes if you haven't done that yet. And the box breath is just equalized inhale, space, or pause, and exhale. Those are all equalized, like as if, that's where this box comes into play, where you're just inhaling. And I'm going to suggest a length of 4. Try that. If you can inhale for a count of 4, pause for a count of 4, exhale that count of 4, another pause. Those pauses really set this particular breath practice apart from any other. Very dynamic. I hope you feel comfortable to do it. Certainly, though, if this count of 4 is just not working for you, change it. Slow it down, or however you need to change it, make that adjustment. So let's begin. Eyes are closed, palms open on our lap. We're going to do that box breath as we bring our awareness. We change gears and bring our awareness fully into this experience of breathing. Holding yourself in good posture, good alignment. We're going to soften your mouth, relax your facial muscles. Keep counting. Stay focused on that breath, including the pause. We're going to stay at another minute. I'm literally watching the time, so we can stay at this for 1 full minute longer. You'll see how potent it is by bringing that much time into this practice. So even though you're sitting up tall and you're using good posture, try to soften something. Maybe the shoulder blades can soften down the back body. One more, just do one more cycle of breath like that. And then you did it. That's it. So let's flutter the eyes open. And just start to notice how you're feeling. Stay with this shift, the change that you made. Stay with it. Don't flutter away. Start thinking about something else. Just stay with the sensation you created in your mind and body by doing that discipline of that breathing. And if you haven't done so already, let's bring to mind our intention for today's class. So, what is it that you need from yoga today, from your practice of yoga, your devotion? This is for you, just reminding you this is all about you. You're here to receive. This is a practice of receptivity. And so it is. We can flutter the eyes open. I'll join you in my position here. I'm just tucking my washcloth behind me. So you're going to imagine you've got that wall behind you. So you're going to make sure, again, you're just every once in a while, I'll give you a little shout out with that. So you can make sure you're holding yourself very vertically, that you're including your head. You're very vertical with your spine and your head is in alignment with that. So let's begin movements through the joints. So I just like to lift up those strong, long arms coming down and as a vinyasa, inhaling and exhaling. Really push your feet to the floor like you're making an imprint there. The block, the squeeze of the block, it just needs to be enough, just enough to keep the block where it is. And then it just alternates. So you're going to just move a little bit differently where you alternate those arms. See if you can find the flow of that alternate movement, the flow. So it's not real jerky, but you can feel that there's a flow between your arms. Long inhale, long exhale. Try using your mouth to exhale like you're blowing out a candle. So it's not the big sigh, wide open mouth, but it's a narrow space that you're blowing that exhale completely out. Oh, excellent. We're going to meet in the T, both arms up, and then we T into that extension, straight arms out and palms facing up. Spread your fingers apart. Your thumb should be pointing behind you. Squeeze that block so you can feel that mula bandha. You can feel into that strength of the central channel. And then, of course, you're turning your head so you can check it out. You know, how easily is your head moving? What's your neck feel like today? So take your time with that. Make sure you stay breathing. Sometimes there's this temptation to sort of hold the breath. So I want you to make sure your breath is still nice and steady. And stretch. Do a little stretching. So you might turn your head one way and you think, whoa, that's tight. That feels kind of tight. So stretch it. Move around. Try to loosen it up. Okay, let's come back to center. Arms are going to be alongside the frame of the chair. We're going to move into that bandha breathing while we do our cow and cat because it just lends itself to that. So to remind you of the breath, I'll say, just pause a minute here. The breath is inhale is expansive, belly rise. Exhale is drawing in and up through the crease of your pant legs, or the seam of your pant legs, I should say, through the way the block is being held. That's the exhalation is coming in and up. So it makes your belly drop. You're pooching it out when you're taking your inhale, but when you're taking your exhale, you're actually trying to pull in so that you kind of hollow that out. So let's try it. And arms are alongside the frame of the chair. Inhale, belly rise. So it's as out there as you can. Exhale, grab hold of your kneecaps, pull the belly in and pull up like you're trying to draw that block in towards your floor of your pelvis. So let's take it nice and slow so we can have time to focus and concentrate on that. Pulling in and up. I like the straight arms, hands kind of really locking into the kneecaps. It just really keeps your shoulders aligned with your hips. Keep going nice and slow so you can get the full inhale and you can really work on that exhale. No doubt the exhale is the key here in this bond of breathing. So that you really feel like you know this breath. You'll be able to use it in your toolbox of different things you're trying to accomplish in a yoga class or maybe other ways that you're trying to stabilize yourself, that you know this breath. Last time, go through the full cycle, pull in and up. Good, and we'll come back to neutral. Again, both arms lift up. Exhale, let's do a back bend. So we're bending those elbows, lifting up our chest. Test it out about how comfortable it feels for you to lift your face up toward the ceiling. Because if your neck is still not ready for that, don't do it. Just keep your head very neutral. But invite it, check it out. See if you can do, because it just feels kind of, all in, like, it's very big. It just feels like you're really all in with your participation, if you can, if it's available. Couple more. Big back bend. You're trying to move your shoulder blades, remember? You're trying to squeeze your shoulder blades together. That's it. All the way up. Now see if you can just do those movement of each arm coming up and down, and there's a flow to that. It's not choppy. Inhale, exhale, that kind of a deal. It's like you're inhaling when one arm's up, you start the exhale when the other arm comes up, kind of like that. Both arms up, palms come together, look up. Exhale, bow at your heart. Take a pause here. Get your thumbs to rest right into your chest bone. Close your eyes and just take a moment now to just honor this practice. Be here that this is a heart-centered practice. And you're just noticing that as an embodiment. Here I am at my heart. Inhale back up. Exhale, take a wide backstroke. And then locate your washcloth. I hid my washcloth so nicely, I can't find it. There we go. So we've got our washcloth by a corner. So you've got that to use, that length of it, I guess, to use. And so it's going to be just look like this. You bring your elbow up close to your head, bent elbow. And now, of course, the washcloth is behind me. And then I'm just going to grab it and switch so that you're moving alternately by switching that hand around. So we do several repetitions. So I want you to stay with the hold as long or as short as you choose. Let that be your way of, modifying. I lost my block. Coming back to that. So you probably are doing just fine. A couple more on this side, just doing the same arm, the same uplifted arm. And then hold it where you got to hold and try to move your hands together as much as you can. You're kind of walking your fingers into that washcloth so your hands and fingers are coming a little closer together. No ducking. So if you're finding yourself getting your head forward to make that happen, that doesn't work. So you might be at the very ends of both sides. You're holding it with the very end piece because that's what allows you to keep your head up. Choose that. That's what you'll choose. Full breath in and out. Feel it in your body. Where's the feedback? So switch side two. So we're going to use the starting movement is on the other arm. Take your time with it. Set it up. Lift up. Remember that imaginary wall that you're trying to lean your head into when you set it up. And the repetition is on purpose. That's why, why aren't we just holding this? There's a method to the madness here. This repetition of movement is creating a neural pathway of range of movement in that shoulder blade and that whole shoulder area. It's hard to remember how long we stayed on one side or the other. So when you feel like you've done it about the same number of times that you did it on the first go, then that's where we'll hold. We'll just hold it. Lean into that imaginary wall. Start to move your fingers toward each other. Just walk them up in that washcloth so you're closer together back there. Breathe in, breathe out. Press your feet to the floor. Give your block a little squeeze. Remember to exhale completely. We always have that, right? That's one thing we can do really good yoga because we remember, exhale completely. Now let's try some little games with this, if you will. So I'm going to just stay with the same back arm and I just pulled down and now I'm kind of pulling away. I'll show you what's happening behind me. So in case you're curious, that you're pulling using that washcloth to pull that back arm into a deeper stretch. And I like the come and go aspect of it, that you do a little pull, you go back to more neutral, you give it another little pull. Check in with your breathing. And then we'll just switch. I'm going to bet you can just hold the washcloth exactly like you are, but you're just changing it over so that the other hand gets a chance to move behind you, and you're going to use that other arm to pull, to give you some leverage here as you're pulling. Great. One more. Full breath out. Keep the washcloth handy. We're going to lose the block temporarily, let the block come underneath. I'm going to take a little wider stance, a little wider with my legs and feet. Of course, you match up your feet with your legs. And now using that as a way of just really holding it to its full extension, we're just moving up and down. Go way back and down. And then the same thing we did in the back, we're going to do in the front, where we're going to let one arm pull over the other arm, way, way back, pull. Stomp your feet to the floor. Feel like your lower body is stable to support this. Yep, and then we'll switch to the other side. Full breath in, full breath out. All the way up. And when you take it down, this is where we're going to lose it. We're going to come all the way down, all the way down. You can leave it on the floor where you are and then fold forward into the space between your legs. I've chosen to put my armpits on top of my kneecaps. I position my legs in such a way that I can stretch down and rest my armpits into the kneecaps. That's not for everybody, maybe, but I'm just giving you that as a
suggestion if that's available to you. Hang that heavy, heavy head of yours down, and then do some belly breathing where you're really forcing the breath into the belly, both in and out. It just feels entirely like there's no such thing as a lung. You're belly breathing. Last time. Now, one hand at a time comes into your thighs, and you're going to squeeze your elbows in towards your waist, but stay at that half lift. I'm turning, you don't need to change, so that you're in that position of a half lift. You've got a diagonal line, but it's still, imagine that there's this wall that you're trying to push your back of your head into to keep your head in line with your spine. Spread your arms away from you like wings. Get into your legs, push into your feet. See how your body weight can shift into your thighs now by your intention. It's like a squat. Yep, and then come all the way up, all the way up. Palms will be together. Look up. Exhale, bow. Come on up. Exhale, take that big backstroke. Come all the way down. So heels are in and toes are kind of out on this one. You've got your legs in a wider angle. Lose that block for some reason, it's bugging me. And I want you to try another twist with me. So take your left hand and bring it over to your right kneecap. So you're holding on. Now notice how just that you can feel the twisting action in your waistline. Here's what I'm going to suggest. As we move on and do a couple different things, if you're finding that the more we add to it, the less likely that other leg, let's call it your standing leg, is supportive. It doesn't feel like, as a matter of fact, it feels troublesome over there. It's hard to keep it. You want to drop your knee and you're just finding, then I'm just giving you authority to move it. So maybe you'll step it in towards center a little bit if you find that you're just not quite able to access this the way I'm making it sound. And so know that that's a great adjustment, is where you've got that other foot and how you're holding that. So we start by holding on to that kneecap. We're upright as best we can. I want you to pull your chin in towards your throat a bit and wait on that. I've just got my back hand just resting behind me, just on the chair. But as soon as you feel like it, I mean, if you're ready and you join me, that we're going to raise that backhand instead of having the stability of it pressing into the back of the chair in some way. I want you to lose that contact, and I'm just going to take it nice and easy. I'm not reaching for the ceiling yet. I'm just taking that out of play, finding my twist, noticing how my other leg is doing. Is it still able to hold this wide angle? Because for me, there's a difference. That backhand seemed to give me a little more support than I realized. And when I take it out of play, it changes things. And then I'm floating it. I'm floating that back arm up to reach eventually toward the ceiling, but I want to go really slow so I can feel the subtle adjustment of every move I make, how I feel it differently in my body, making my way to a full extension of that arm. Now turn so you can look at me on the screen, because we're going to drop our chin toward our left shoulder. Pull in. It's like trying to draw that chin in towards your throat, and then keep your gaze down. Your gaze is down. You're not looking at the screen. Breathe in, breathe out. Bring your head up to neutral. Push your feet to the floor. Now see if you can just switch like this, where you're just going to crisscross to change to the other side. You're just going to get your backhand now behind you. Try to find that length of the vertical spine. Make sure your feet are planted. Your legs are able to stay in their wide open position. And then find the rhythm of your breath return. And when you're ready, you're going to start taking away that backhand and its support, and it starts floating. It's just floating and making its way while you pay attention to how each movement of that arm changes how your body feels in this twist. Deepen your breath. Fully extend it if you can. Maybe you found a spot sooner than I did where you needed to stop. This is it. This is as far as it goes. Now we're changing our drishti. We're turning our head so our chin drops toward the other shoulder, pulling that chin way in toward the throat. We're into the Jaladhara bandha. There's a lock of energy that's directing energy right at the throat. It's a stabilizing tool for the movement of the head and neck. Beautiful. Let's lift the head, and then we're going to bring the other hand to our knees. Just take a pause there. And we'll lift up. Get a hold of your elbows. Make sure you're not ducking. Take a couple of tick-tocks from side to side. I say holding onto the elbows. It's kind of the forearms. You get it, you know. Make sure you're just noticing how when you tilt from side to side, you're noticing that in how your ears are moving. You know, kind of goofy, but notice how there's a movement that says, oh yeah, there's my ear drawing in that direction. My ear draws down on that side. Even it out. When we come back to neutral, we're going to take a big backstroke to come out of that. And one more. And now interlace your fingers and stretch those palms out in front of you. So interlaced hands lift up. Stretching through your wrists and your hands. Take another fold forward all the way down. Can you keep them interlaced and you press those interlaced hands to the ground? We're just going to hold it for one breath, maybe two, pressing those interlaced hands to the floor, and then release them one hand at a time to your thighs. Squeeze your elbows into your waist, lift up halfway. Make sure you've got that diagonal line so you're properly managing the weight of your head. Spread your arms away from you like wings. Push your feet. Push your feet. Inhale all the way back up. Exhale at the heart. Up and all the way down. Now, let's bring ourselves a little bit closer together so we can move into the joints. Now, this is the temptation. Get yourself in a tilted position, but I want you to try to bring yourself forward, align yourself with that imaginary wall. So as we start moving our ankle around, we're very upright. We were mindful about that. I like you to use the heaviness of your leg. I'm just encouraging that so your arms get a chance to get stronger, your bicep muscles. Move into the knee joint. So we're going to circle that lower leg. Be sure to change the direction. I got a lot of great hip openers for us when we stand up, so we're not going to move into the hip. We're going to hug that knee into the chest instead, using your shin to pull it in. Now we're going to come into a diagonal line. You're going to extend your other leg straight out. And I want you to tilt back. So you're finding a new place to rest your head that's in line with the spine while it's lying in its diagonal position. You know what, though? Pulling your chin in towards your throat would be a good idea. And then start releasing. Once that foot comes back down, you get both feet to the floor. Let's shake that out, move around a little bit to reset the body. And we'll move to side two. Get your heavy leg up there, start to move. Now, keep yourself upright. We're going to be very mindful about that. It's different. See how different it is when you make sure that you're doing that, because there's just this tendency, but you know, it just makes it stronger for us, I think, keeping ourselves in alignment like that. And then move into the knee. Remember, you want to do both directions, so I'll let you be the judge of when it's time for that. Notice your breath. I noticed I was not breathing, so I can shout that out. Make sure you're back into a rhythm of breath. We're going to do that pull and push, hugging the knee into the chest, hold on to your shin, pull it in, and push it out. You know what I didn't mention the first go, and I'm going to mention it now. I want you to have both feet really flexed. So you're pulling your toes towards your shin, and both legs, both feet are doing that. So very flexed. Find that imaginary wall. It's in a diagonal line now. It's not straight up and down. Pull your chin in towards your throat and breathe in and breathe out. Hovering a leg up and out away from you while you hug the other one in toward the chest and belly. Good job. Foot to the floor, foot to the floor. Reset the body. All right, let's do this interlaced hands one more time. Hey, I got an idea. Switch. You know how you just interlace your hands the way they fit? This is the normal way for you. Can you switch it around so the fingers don't go the way they typically weave? Find that one instead. So you've got a second version of that. Lifting up. Push your feet to the floor. And come all the way, all the way, all the way down. Touch those interlaced hands to the floor, and come back up using the strength of your legs. Come back and see if you can just find a rhythm of movement where you bring those straight arms down, press them into your floor right in front of your feet, and come back up. Do it a third time if that's available to you. If you're feeling like lightheaded or anything like that, skip it. Push your feet, get your legs to help you come back up. And when we release it, we're going to go real slow. So you're kind of moving your fingers like you're playing the piano. And we do this super slow so we can feel how the body is releasing and letting go. And we can feel it as an embodiment. Beautiful. Shrug and release. Shrug and release. One more time. Good. I want you to just use your arms to get you out of this chair. So I'm going to say, swing your arms up. They reach to the ceiling. Bring them on down toward the chair and swing them up. Last time, I'm going to say, grab your block and put it between your lower legs, and then you'll come up and all the way down with the arms. Squeeze those legs into the block. Make sure you've lifted your toes up a little bit to just sort of give you a little better alignment with your feet and the soles of your feet, and then press those toes back down. Soften the knees. There's always this slight bend in the knees here. Soften the knees. Find that wall behind you. Close your eyes and give it a try to go back to your box breath. That count of 4 for the inhale, a count of 4 for the pause, a count of 4 for the exhale, another count of 4 for that final pause. So see if you can do a few rounds of your box breath. Eyes closed if you're comfortable. If not, if it doesn't work for you, just look at the floor. Your eyelids will be pretty much closed, but you've got the stability that you're looking for with your eyes still focused. Do one more round. Good. And then I'm going to lose the block for now. I might need it, but I'm not sure. So I'm just going to set it out of the way. And then I want you to line up with your chair so that, I didn't move it at all. It's just the way I started. And then I want the outside leg, not the leg that's closest to the backrest, but the outside leg is coming onto the chair seat. The distance you have between your feet is going to be individualized. So I'm going to try to hop that back foot back a little bit so it's a wider stance for me. That's completely up to you. And we're going to pulse forward and back. Start with just forward and back. So this is going to open up that hip. Make sure your foot on the chair feels solid. You know, if you're too far to one edge or something and it doesn't feel very stable for you, just make sure that foot on the chair is solidly placed there and you can trust that. Try not to look at the screen. You're just moving forward and back and holding your head in alignment with your spine. Holding onto the chair is one of the options. So you can start to wean yourself from that support and balance your way into it. That requires a little more core engagement. And then we're going to include now a really good stretch of the hamstring. Let the toes pop up and then your hips pull back a little bit. So now the bent knee comes forward, but then we're going to pop those toes up on the chair and take a straight leg back. So this can be done with holding onto the chair. Very easy to do it that way. I mean, very easily accessible. Or you can start trying to wean yourself. And there's other ways. Putting your fingertips on the chair seat, for example, is kind of nice. I'm going to encourage that. If you haven't tried it, encourage getting your fingertips on the chair seat. Pop those toes up. Pull back. Last time. We pop the toes up and we have a straight leg pulling back. Fingertips on the chair. Okay, let's get the foot back down and our knee is bent. I want you to bring your hands. Let's see how this works. I'm going to have you bring your hands to the inside of that foot so that you're really deep into that. See how deep you are into your hip? Now just move in any way that you can find movement. Both hands are connected to the chair seat and you got this deep bend in your very deep into your hip. I like to kind of find some what I call non-linear movement where I'm trying to, instead of just forward, back, I'm trying to circle it around a little bit, get a little more creative about it. Stay with it. Just notice your breath. Now make your way up. Stay with me. We're big hip work. I want you to roll onto the pinky edge of your foot. On that foot that's on the chair, you roll onto the pinky edge. And now when you come forward, your knee is going to drop open a little bit. And I'm just pushing into that. So foot flat, peeling the inner part of the foot away from the seat and then back down. So there's still some movement of the pelvis forward and back. You've changed what you're doing with your leg. All right, let's plant that foot again. I'm going to say you get your back leg a little closer to the chair than what you started with. I'm just at this odd angle so you could maybe see both sides of the chair. And then we're going to use our drishti. I want you to really pay attention to. So watch me come through it because once we go into the drishti, you don't want to look at the screen. So I'm going to fold forward a little bit and stare at my big toe. I've got my eyes really locked into my big toe. And then I'm going to take my other elbow around the outside of my knee. This is a twist we've done a lot of different times, but the drishti is what's keeping me solid. I'm staring at my big toe. I bring my hands to the prayer position. There I am staring at that big toe, pressing palms together. Okay, so try that. You started with just the bent knee. You start right away looking at your toe, bringing your other elbow over and back on the outside of that knee and thigh. Keep staring. Now smooth out your breath. Back to a nice rhythm of breath. There should be a little tension. Your elbow is pushing into your leg and your leg is going to say, nope, I'm not budging. I'm pushing right back. That little tension is very stabilizing, and it kind of gives you more bang for your buck. Okay, start to unwind from that piece by piece by piece. You come back and you'll get both feet on the floor. Now shake that out real good. Shake it out. Any movement at all your body needs, this is a good time for you to reset the body. Make sure you're all caught up in your breath, so don't let me rush you. If you need to stand a little bit longer and just catching up with your breath, you're going to do so. We're stepping the other, our side two now. Remember, the foot that's on the floor, how close it is to your chair, that will vary. So you decide, might be a little different on this side than what you found on the other side. And we're pulsing the pelvis forward and back. Keep all toes down for now. We're just stretching into the hip. Just for a different awareness, notice how this pulsation is felt in your standing leg. It's a nice stretch for your psoas muscle. That's that major hip flexor. Find a nice pace that works for you. Keep your belly kind of engaged. We want to use that mula bandha. That bandha pathway, I should say, because it's really using two of those locations. More balance required when you don't use the chair for support. I'm staying with it just for a couple more pulsations. And then we're going to come into more of a hamstring stretch for that leg that's on the chair. So now we're going to pull the toes up away, so it's a straight leg. Really engage. I'm going to, again, encourage eventually that you've got your fingertips on the chair seat rather than the chair's backrest. And you're letting your pelvis pull back for a straight leg and flex toes. You might try stretching and holding where you've got the straight leg in place and you kind of weight it out a little bit, pulling the pelvis back, really feeling into the stretch. And then we're going to set up for our twist, so that standing foot might want to come a little closer to the chair. And remember, this is about, oh wait, see, I almost did it. I forgot the one where we open it up. So, okay, good catch on my part. Roll onto the pinky edge of your foot and kind of pull down. I'm pushing into the inner thigh, moving around a little bit. I'm so glad I remembered. That would be haunting me later. It's a nice additional stretch. This is the one where we get a little more non-linear about it. You don't have to find a straight line to work with. You're just trying to find sensation. Moving that pelvis around, looking for sensation. All right, here we go. Ready for the twist. So center your foot, make sure it's very solid on that chair seat, and that your foot on the floor feels just as solid on the ground. This is where we stare at our big toe. We fold our body down toward our thigh. Get your elbow that crosses over. Keep staring at your big toe as you bring palms together, pressing those palms, staring at your big toe, breathing in and breathing out. Your legs energetically are trying to draw in toward that mula bandha. They're trying to draw in towards your center. Keep your eyes on the toe. It's going to be like you got an anchor of support here. One more good breath. Then start to disengage, unwind from all that. Take your time. Let's find a downward facing dog. I'm just leaving the chair exactly how it was. Palms are on the chair seat. Start walking back from that. Try your downward dog here. Remember, the distance you have between your feet matches the distance you have between your hands. Remember too that you're being held by your feet and your legs, not by that chair, so that you're not pounding a lot of weight into your hands. You're using the strength of your legs on purpose as you draw a diagonal line with your spine. And then make sure your head is in alignment with that by drawing your chin in towards your throat a little bit. Let's walk the dog. So one at a time, the heel really gets high. One at a time, you roll onto the toes. So just alternate walking the dog. So you can stretch your feet a little bit into your toes. Go very high up like a Barbie foot. Let's get both heels up and then both heels down. Push down, straighten your legs as best you can. Both heels up and down, straighten those legs. And then let's start walking toward the chair. Go slow. Soften the knees quite a bit, round ups one vertebrae at a time. Your head will be the last thing to come up. All the way up. And just take a wider stand with your legs. Wait it out. Again, if I'm rushing you, you don't want to try to keep up with something your breath won't agree to. And then we're just going to flip-flop those arms around. And let's finish up with some tapping. So start with the crown of your head, fingertips just tapping the very crown of your head. Your breath is going to start to slow down. Let's make sure our knees aren't locked. You don't need to follow my path. I'm going to the forehead. You got a pathway of tapping that, you sort of feels more natural to you. I'll go ahead and bring you to awareness of some things. I'm on my cheekbones now. Under my nose, on the chin. Feel free to do this any way you want. I'm going to move along the collarbone, all the way down and around. And then down one arm and flip it so it's the other side. And make your way down the other arm. Tap, tap, tap. Flip it. Back to the collarbone. Right at the heart center. That's that chest bone. And then on your belly. So it's just, be aware that, this whole digestive system you've got here, that intestinal tract, you just try to tap around. Don't punch it. Just a tap. Let's go down the legs now. Soften those knees quite a bit. Tap, tap, tap down both legs, all sides, as thorough as you can. Remember, you're managing the weight of that heavy head of yours. Soften those knees a lot. Tap, tap, tap. All the way around, inside and out. Bend the knees quite a bit when you're coming up. We're going to meet at the top of the crown, at the top of the head here. Good. Inhale up, palms will come together. Look up. Exhale, bow at your heart. Inhale up. Exhale, come all the way down. Interlace your hands behind your back, pull back. And now if you found the use of that washcloth really helpful, because this has always been a difficult thing, grab your washcloth and then you can pull back like that with a little more ease. Soften those knees quite a bit. This isn't for everybody, but for those of you who want to, we're going to do a forward fold here. So really soften the knees. Come down, 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 where the crown of your head is reaching toward the floor and your knuckles are reaching toward the ceiling. Feel your body weight in your strong legs. You can feel how gravity is affecting the way you're holding yourself. One more breath like that, and then release your arms like ragdoll arms. Give that a full breath cycle. Come up halfway so your hands are on your shins. You could use your chair, it's right there handy. So either hands at the shins or hands on the chair seat, and try to flatten your back here into the L shape. Tuck your chin in towards your throat, straighten your legs as best as you can. Spread your arms away from you like wings would do. Feel how strong you are in your legs and your core strength. Soften the knees a lot as you come upright. Palms will come together overhead. Exhale, bow at your heart. Up, all the way down and around. And now we're moving into Shavasana. So if there's still some movement you want to do with this chair, you do it. You know, there might be some stretches that you were hoping to get to today. This is a good time to add that. Otherwise, we're setting up for Shavasana. Nice time to hydrate. You've got water handy. This would be a good time. Now you're really surrendering into the chair, into the support of the chair. You know, we kind of try to prove ourselves, how strong we are by holding ourselves in such a way that, you know, it just gives us a sense that we're in charge and we're strong, which is all good. But when it comes to Shavasana, you want to pitch that. You want to bring yourself into a place of surrender, of letting go. So your body is reliant on the support of the chair, and you're trying to learn a lesson from that. Understand that there's value to that support. Close your eyes as soon as you're comfortable with that. And notice how the closing of the eyes changes your perception so much that it's an intimate experience, much more so than when your eyes are wide open and you're moving and, you know, getting stronger and all of those things. Instead, you're softening. It's more vulnerable. But you've got the support of this chair. You've got the support of your space. I do a lot of reading, listening to spiritual type growth and practices. You know, it's in abundance out there on the internet. And I do a lot of that. I like to listen to that. I like to learn from it. One of the commonalities I have found is a phrase that is used, that is, source the room around you for support. So you're trying to be aware of this place that you hold in high esteem. It's your home. And you're noticing how that space really is a loving, supportive, sacred space for you. Now deepen the breath. If you found that box breath technique particularly useful today, slip it in there. So that you can feel and hear yourself breathing. And you can feel your body relaxing with that. Like with each breath you take, you can feel it in your body as a letting go or as a surrender. Remember the use of mantra, just reminding you. I find that extremely helpful for myself when I find my mind has wandered. You know, we're coming to the close of this. We know what our mind says. Wait a minute, I'm going to start planning my day. Use a mantra. So you've got these last few minutes dedicated to this practice. Remember, this is for you. It's a practice of receiving. Let yourself receive for a few more minutes. Totally give yourself to that. I'm reading from Dana Fald's book, Go In and In. This one, The Choice. Is it faith or fear that rises to the fore? Affirmation or negation at the very core and center of the self? Will it be light or dark within the heart today? The icy grip of fear that knots and sours, leaving me to cower in the shadows? There is another way. I know it surely as I know the scent of spring. The choice of faith invites, invokes, calls forth from all creation both the blessing and the lesson of the day. Whether faith or fear, the choice is mine alone. Each moment choosing, stepping through the door, trusting that the path beyond will surely lead me home. I know it surely as I know the scent of spring. Time to start our transition. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Let that breath come out of your mouth like a big old sigh. Ah, big open mouth, lots of sound. Ah. There's science behind that, folks. If you know, it's a wonderful, fun practice, but you know what? There's science behind that. In that vagal tone, read up on that. Lots of information. So another big sigh. Make the sound. Ah. And now we need feet on the floor. We need to come a little forward on our chair. So we're again reliant on our core strength, our strength of our back, our imaginary wall behind us. Good, let's sync up our breath now as we close. Inhale, palms come together overhead as we lift up and look up. Exhale, bow at your heart. Inhale, back up. Exhale, we offer a blessing. We share this energy, this beautiful, peaceful, loving, faithful energy with our community. And again, palms come together in the prayer position of the heart. We bow to ourselves and we bow to one another. Namaste, my friends. Thank you for joining me.